relevant to session only. Please avoid unnecessary questions. So, good afternoon, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all of you to another insightful session of which signifies the path to success. This initiative is part of our continuous engagement to the bridge the gap between academia and industry, helping you to gain exposure and practical knowledge through our insightful from experienced professionals. On the behalf of Center for Distance and Online Education, BGU, I welcome all our learners, faculty members, our esteemed guest speaker who have joined us today under the Abhyut Expert Session program. I'm your moderator for today's session. I'm Asta Sharma, Assistant Professor at Center for Distance and Online Education, CPGU. I welcome all our learners, faculty members once again. So learners, you need to note some points that you will receive a participation, but for that, you need to fill feedback form that will be shared in the chat box at the end of this session. It is compulsory to fill that form because we will collect your all information from there. And it will generate your certificate by using information. So learners, now we are moving to the most awaited part of this program. We are truly honored to have with us today Dr. Vikram Vincent. Dr. Vincent is an EdTech researcher and consultant with over 10 years of experience in designing, conducting, and evaluating users' learner-centric studies, experiment, and interventions. He holds a PhD in educational technology from IIT Bombay and also an AC certified personal fitness trainer specializing in senior citizens fitness. He is the founder of CTO Pre-Thought Lab, an innovation at tech startup that leverage artificial intelligence. So learners, he is the that
Hello.
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay, I thought my net had cut. Really, good afternoon,
Vikram.
everyone. Hey, Yogi.
Yeah. So there's some problem at our end, maybe the internet. So I just connected from my personal mobile. So now it looks like that in our case it's working fine, but you and the students are anyway connected. Okay. So I welcome Vikram and students. Please understand that what this session is about. Okay. So this session is about utilizing artificial intelligence in creating your own startup. Perfect. So some of you may comment that I am from BA, I am from MBA, I am from MCA. How business can be useful to me? I am not going to be in the startup world and this and that. That's perfectly fine. But please note, you are going to join a journey. From today, you are starting in 3 years. You don't know what's going to change outside. So it's better be prepared for almost everything. That is why we have invited Vikram Vincent today. He is specialized in working with artificial intelligence and is a startup, which is a one-person company. Think one
Free
person
Thought Labs.
free thought labs. So that is working with the help of AI and in participation of many universities. So he also have a good pool of students from different university whom he hire as an intern, and then they get exposure to new technologies. Perfect. So it can be a good opportunity for all of you. Please listen to him carefully. Obviously, the session is not going to be in Hindi. I believe you know that you have joined a professional program, so it will be only in English. So please bear with that and ask your relevant questions. So it will be divided into two parts, as we have discussed with Vikram. One part is going to be about the theory, and then he will shift that to a workshop mode where you will build something on your own today. So with that, please be there. And now it's over to you, Vikram. Please.
So thank you
Thank you
very
very
much, Yogi. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. Uh, I think you just now witnessed one of the most beautiful aspects of the online world, which is if something can go wrong, it definitely will go wrong. And one of those interesting things is internet going wrong. Okay, so let me just share my screen. If by chance my internet or anything cuts, or if I'm not audible, one of you would have to give me a phone call to let me know that I'm not online, right? So my phone is next to me to receive any calls. So just let me share my screen. Okay. 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 So my talk was titled Today is a Good Day to Start Up with AI. First and foremost, my PhD, my background is engineering, computing engineering. But I have dabbled in a lot of different streams, whether it is law, whether it is the social sciences. My area of interest has always been history and history education. How do you teach and learn history? And as the introduction went, I am a fitness trainer. I am a trained and certified fitness trainer. I specialize in senior citizen fitness, that is people 55 years and above, because it's a very niche area. So I'm like Vikram Vincent by day and Batman by night sort of approach. Okay, but having said that, something more focused for all of you is what am I building? So I have done a lot of work in different areas in the past, and then I realized that I wanted to get into the startup space because I wanted to build. So what am I building? So my company is called Free Thought Labs, and here I'm building edtech products. And two products which I'm building is one is I'm trying to build a software that automatically corrects answer papers, because this is a teacher's biggest headache that they don't like correcting answer papers. They love teaching in the classroom, but the moment it comes to evaluating answer papers, we don't prefer that particular task. So I thought, why not automate that task? Because it is possible, even if it is long form answers. But a second product that I'm building is how to provide feedback to students on their critical thinking skills, right? Because this is a very important skill, or rather a bouquet of skills that need to be developed. And with AI, right, generative AI, we can provide feedback to our learners. See, when I was teaching in at the school level, right, international school level, when you have to provide feedback to children, let's say if it is 1:10, 1:20, you can give very good attention. But the moment the classroom size becomes 1:50, 1:100, or even in the case of your university, right, where all of you are online, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, it becomes very difficult to give individual attention. So in these cases, we can easily leverage AI. And so one of my products leverages AI. But apart from that, I realized that most AI right now is primarily in the English language. And you see, I believe that from an entrepreneur point of view, that you can make a lot of good revenue if you build your tools in the local languages or in the Indian languages. And we have a lot of Indian languages, whether it is Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Punjabi, right? I mean, we have a lot of official languages and dialects, which goes into the hundreds, in fact. So this is actually a very unique space to build products, a lot of services. And I, being out of Karnataka, Bangalore, I thought, hey, why not build for Kannada? So sometime back, this Chinese startup called brought out this product called DeepSeek, and it was one of those first few models which are open source, and it had this beautiful thing that it could do reasoning. So I thought, hey, why not do reasoning in Kannada, right? Or Tamil or Telugu or Hindi. And then I realized that these particular data sets were not available. So I went about to start building the fundamental tools required for those particular data sets. And in the process, I started having tie-ups with different colleges, different universities all over the country. And we started giving live projects to interns, and our interns come from a variety of backgrounds. Though our product is tech, right, primary tech, we have interns who are coming from the psychology, who are coming from sociology, who are coming from computer science, who are coming from business, who are coming from design, right? Because to build any product, you need people from different backgrounds, and we need people from different backgrounds who also understand technology. So in a way, we it's a very interdisciplinary approach. Now, I'm quite sure most of you have tried using Chat GPT or Perplexity, and you have built something or the other, or you have gotten answers to questions, to problems that you're working on, right? I'm quite sure about that. So the first thing that I wanted to open, right, was this nice term, which has become very popular, which is vibe coding. And I wanted to open by saying, please forget vibe coding. Instead, the first and foremost thing that you need to become is you need to become an expert. Okay, it doesn't matter what, you need to become an expert. Now you will say, hey, why, right? Why do I need to be an expert when I can do vibe coding and I can build anything? You should understand that I am running a startup, and right now, with a Chat GPT or a Perplexity subscription, which costs around $23, or let's say approximately 2,000 rupees a month, all right, only a month, I am able to do 5 people's work. 5 people's work. You should also understand that AI tools are being built so that we can reduce the number of human beings that are involved in any building process, right? Whether it is coding, whether it is UI, UX, it doesn't matter what task. AI has been built to remove human beings, right? So the question comes, why as a company or as a startup should I pay lakhs of rupees per person per month to build either a product or a service or something, right? Now, if you are paying attention to the news, which the newspapers or the news, you would have realized that many large companies have been firing their current employees, And even when they have taken students into their post internship, or once they have recruited them, they have let them go after giving them a joining letter. So being an expert and being able to build products irrespective of your discipline, right? It doesn't matter whether you're an MBA or whether you're a psychology student or whether you're a sociology student. You should be able to build products for your area. Like, for example, if you're studying psychology, and you are learning about the various tools used for psychological studies to work with clients, right? Can you build a product that can automate those surveys, or automate those processes of collecting data, of analyzing data, right? So you should be able to build those products. And in that journey, what all of us have come to realize is that AI has lowered the bar to building products significantly. It has just brought it to such a level that even a child in school can build full-fledged products. And this is what we are calling as an epoch shift, right? You'll have to look up what is the meaning of epoch shift, but there are two terms, right, that you need to look up. One is called a paradigm shift. That is, let's say, initially degree programs were all face-to-face. You would go to a class, and then when it moved online, that is what is called a paradigm shift, right? So let's let's say if you're studying, okay, so that's a paradigm shift from offline to online. An epoch shift is normally what happens, let's say, once in 1,000 years, right? Once in 1,000 years. And AI is one such epoch shift. So to get an idea of how powerful an epoch shift this is, I want to give you a few examples, right? Historical examples. There are just 5 or 6 at the maximum. Now, this picture is having 3 different epoch shifts, right? The first one is when human beings were able to make fire by striking pieces of stone together, right? And they extended their lifespan simply by learning how to make fire rather than depending on, let's say, a lightning strike or a forest fire to give them fire. So this is epoch shift number 1, from being a gatherer and a hunter to making sort of fire, right? First. The second epoch shift, as you can see in the same image, is when human beings were able to make tools, a spear, tools for cutting, tools for killing, tools for digging, tools for drawing on the walls. And as if you have studied history in school or science in school, you realize that the moment human beings were able to make tools, their cognition, that is the way in which a person thinks, started evolving. The tool enabled the person to start thinking more. It became an extension of the human body. So this is your second epoch shift. The third, and again you can see it on the screen in the image, is as human beings started evolving in a cognition point of view, that is from the way the brain works, we started learning how to write or rather draw on walls, and then learn how to interpret these drawings from walls. So reading and writing skills, again, which are extremely fundamental for our brain to work, started expanding. So in this one image, we are seeing 3 different epoch shifts which took millions of years, right? It was millions of years. So millions of years of evolution captured in one image. By the way, all my images which I've put here are all Creative Commons. So I've not broken any copyright laws. So this first image contains 3 different epoch shifts spread over many million years. The fourth, and this is more recently, right, in the last a few hundred years, was the Gutenberg printing press, the first printing press in the world, right? Now, till the Gutenberg printing press was invented, people, if they had to write, let's say, the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran, or they had to write shlokas or whatever, right? They would manually write each copy, handwrite each and every shloka, each and every page, which would go into like lakhs and lakhs of pages or whatever material they were writing on. The advent of the printing press changed that dynamics completely, right? It changed the way people had access to knowledge, an very important epoch shift. Now, after the first one was making of fire, the second one was the making of tools for hunting, gathering, for farming, for drawing, painting, and the third is reading and writing. The next largest epoch shift was the printing press, right? Very important. And after the printing press, the next epoch shift was the invention of the computer. You see, because till now, with the printing press, up to the printing press, if I have to make a copy of a book, or let's say a table or a chair, or anything, right? A bulb, I need a certain amount of resources. I need to go somewhere, I need to cut down a tree, I need to chop the wood, fashion the wood into blocks or boards, and then I need to make nails, and then I would fashion the wood into into a table or a chair. So for each table or chair that I had to build manually, or each printing press or each book I had to print manually, a certain amount of raw materials and labor, human labor, that is what an effort each human being has to put into building it, had to be replicated. Now, the moment the computer came into being, everything got digitized, right? So again, another new epoch shift. So if I make one copy of a book, right? Let's say an encyclopedia or a software or music or a video, to make 100 copies, 1 million copies, a billion copies, all I had to do is right click, copy, paste. That's it, right? No longer it require a lot of human labor in that particular to make a subsequent copy. And this was massive because, see, again, it reduced the human labor required to first, I mean, of course, to build something initially, a lot of human labor is required. But to make subsequent copies, the cost of production became zero, or rather close to zero. Hence, the computer was another epoch shift. Now, after the computer, so we have had 3 plus 2, so 5 epoch shifts. The sixth epoch shift was the invention of the internet, and where children could, whatever copies you made, you could share it with each other, right? I'm sure many of you have created videos, you have uploaded to YouTube or to Instagram or to Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else, and you're able to share what you have created. The internet helped you share, right? So sharing, now you should understand that the sharing was because initially the stock markets were in different parts of the world, right? You had a Tokyo Stock Exchange, you had a Mumbai Stock Exchange, you had in the US multiple stock exchanges. And when these stock exchanges had to communicate with each other, they had to do it in a very analog manner, or send files across, through different non-digital methods. And it would take a long time for a stock exchange on two different parts of the world to communicate with each other. Now, governments, right, across the world, and including banking sector, they were like, hey, if I want to build something in India and I want to transport, or not India, and I want to transport it to another part of the world, initially I would use trains, ships, and I would need railway lines. I would need different modes of transportations to do this transportation, right? And now the stock exchange became digital with a computer. So automatically I wanted to transfer billions of dollars of revenue from one part of the world to another part of the world in the blink of an eye, but accurately and reliably. So that is actually the actual reason why the internet was created, right? Not because of education, not because of health, not because people had the goodness of their heart. Of course, those are all side effects. But the real reason was that the banking sector wanted to transfer huge amounts of money across the world in the blink of an eye and reliably. So the internet came into being, and then all of us having this session online, for example, we are beneficiaries of that particular epoch shift of the internet, of the computer and the internet. Now, as we go forward, right, we realized that computers needed software, and software was proprietary, which means you had to buy the software from someone, and if you didn't have the money, it was not possible, right? um, so then this small idea called free software open source in the 1980s came into being, and at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT in the US, by this one person called Richard Stallman. And he said, hey, let us make software free software, that is, give it freedom. So what they did is they rewrote all the software and they started releasing it on the internet. So you have Linux, you have Ubuntu, you have your Firefox web browser, you have Python coding language, PHP. Google runs on free software open source, Google, Yahoo, all these big companies, your Netflix. If you have used tools like Docker, or even it doesn't matter, right? So the entire internet runs on free software. So this another paradigm shift of moving away from proprietary or closed systems. There was a shift away from, now of course this is not a epoch shift, but this is again a paradigm shift, which is from closed systems we went to open systems, right, where people could access it, they could read it, they could understand the system, and then they could build on top of these open systems. So you have Wikipedia. I'm sure all of you have used Wikipedia, right? So this shift away from closed to open took place. Now, as part of this free software open source, we now have a new thing of where AI has come in as an epoch shift, and it has lowered the barrier to build tools, right? So the computer helped you build tools, the internet helped you share what you've built. The free software open source ensured that you had access to software which was open, right? Which you could study, understand, share, make, remake. And now there is artificial intelligence. So I'm going to share my the next slide. And what you need to do is there's a link on it. It's a chat GPT link. It just took me, so though I have a PhD and all that, I'm very weak in mathematics, okay? In fact, I failed in mathematics in 10+2. In fact, that is the reason why I got into educational technology, because I realized, oh my God, my teachers didn't do a good job, and that's why I wanted to learn more, right? So I wanted to learn something called Fourier transforms. So I just took 10 minutes and asked ChatGPT, okay, can you teach me these Fourier transforms in a visualization manner? So on the next screen, right? Next screen. Okay, I have a example project which I created, and there's a tiny URL. I want you to copy that tiny URL and open it in your browser. Can you please do that? I will hold the session for 30 seconds for you to open it. Yep. So all of you who are on the session, please open that link. It's a chat GPT link. I'll just read out. It's tinyurl.com/2 2DVJVSR9. Just reading out in case some of the letters are not visible. Can you all open it? So when you open the link, let me just shift away and see if... Let me just stop sharing and then just share my whole screen. Just hold on. Okay, so you can see my ChatGPT screen. I basically said that I want a game to teach Fourier transformation through visualization. And I found a nice library, called P5JS. By the way, don't worry if you're not even a computer science person. Anybody can build software nowadays. You don't need to be a software person to do it. So I just said, build something for me. And ChatGPT gave me a whole set of features. It told me how the folders should be, what is there in each folder, what is the code in each file, right? It gave me everything. And all I do was just create a folder, create those empty files, copy paste that code. And when I opened the file, I think you can see what's running on my screen right now. Okay, so I've just given it to you as an example. Save that ChatGPT example somewhere. But if you notice, I didn't tell exactly what ChatGPT should build for me. So it took whatever was available on the internet and it built it without, from its own whatever understanding. And I'm using the word understanding within double quotes because it's not really understanding. These are all probability machines. It just sees what is available on the entire internet. And then it remixes parts of what's on the internet to give me or to give us stuff that we need, right? It's not really thinking. It's not though I'm using the word artificial intelligence, we actually don't really have artificial intelligence. These are all just what is called a probabilistic machine, right? So just let me come back, right? So that was part of the demo. Just show you. By the way, it just took me 10 minutes to build that particular piece of software. I just went, asked ChatGPT, build me this. It gave me code. I just copy paste. I think it actually gave me a zip file also. If you scroll down, there's a zip folder. I downloaded a zip folder, opened the zip folder, and that's what came out, right? It's as simple as that. So, but, right, and this is very important. This particular wait, let me just stop sharing and come back to my screen. Right, okay, so I'm back to my presentation slides. Yeah, I'm aware that it's not full screen, but I just thought, if you're able to see it, it's good. Now, as we are moving forward, right, with artificial intelligence, with what is called a large language models, I think you must have heard of these words, large language model, which everyone talks about, which is GPT or DeepSeek, where they're all billions of parameters. A lot of us on the technology side, on the ethics side, on the we are all talking about sustainability, which is when you want to build products and services, and we want to know how much of natural resources are being used. Are we destroying the planet by our technological advances? Like in the past, if someone said build a bomb, a nuclear bomb, people would just build it, right? And it had its destructive effects. which we don't want. And we know that even with artificial intelligence, there are a lot of side effects, which is not, it's not even side effects. There's a lot of negative effects, which is starting with uh, a lot of the nonsense which is on the internet, right? On websites and all of it is also used to train the internet. I'll answer questions towards the end. Yeah. Rather end of this first part of my presentation before I go to the workshop mode. So please hold your questions. So as these large language models are trained on content from the internet, they use a lot of water, they use a lot of electricity, they use a lot of hardware. And because of this, people who don't have access to this large hardware are not able to build, right? So there is a move to build smaller models, small models, as in models which can run on your laptop, but which are really good. So the idea is that our work or the models that we build have to be sustainable. They need to be environment friendly. They need to be privacy conscious. That is, they need to take care of the privacy of the users. That is, they should not steal private data of the users and use it to train the models, right? That's very unethical. It does happen, but it's very unethical, and hence we need to push back on these aspects. You see, I'm talking about different domains which are relevant for all of you. I'm quite sure as you study, it doesn't matter which domain, many of these concepts will come up. So I'm talking about it from a very practical point of view because I run a business, and because I'm an edtech business, I need to work with children's data, with schools, with colleges, and I'm going to get a lot of data from children. And I need to ensure that the privacy or the privacy of the child is not violated, right? So I need to take care of all these things. So having my models as small as possible, as privacy centric as possible, with less carbon footprint, less energy consumption, is very important. Now, I'm going to give you, here is where I hope you make some small notes, because in the second part of the session, we're going to build stuff. So you need to just make a note of this. There's a nice software. Now, I think all of you have Windows systems or Apple system, or some of you may have a Linux system. So this is one nice software which you can download and install on your laptop or desktop. It's called Olama. Just go to olama.com. As you're talking, as I'm speaking, you can always open the browser, go to olama.com and just download, right? So whatever version of operating system that you have, whether it's Mac, Windows, or Linux, it'll download the equivalent version, install it, right? Why? Because Olama is a nice software which allows you to host AI models on your laptop itself, right? No longer are you constrained to having a chat GPT subscription, right? Where initially I used to pay $23. Now I do all my development on my laptop itself, and my AI is on my laptop. It's not even on the internet anymore. And I use Olama software. Now, once you go to Olama, there's a thing called models, right? So just click and open models, right? So when you click and open models, you will see different open weight models that are currently available. Of course, on top, you can see the latest release from OpenAI, the company which gave us all Chat GPT. It's called GPT OSS. So they have come up with a very powerful open weight model, which you can all download. Obviously, you can see some numbers, right? Below it, you can see DeepSeek, then you can see Gemma, then you can see something called Qwen 3. Now, I personally am using Qwen 3, and my laptop has around 16 GB RAM. So I am running, you can see down there something called 14B, like 14 billion parameter model, which is a reasonably large model, which can run within this 16 GB RAM. Of course, if you have 8 GB RAM, then I would suggest you using a 4B as in 4 billion parameter model. And of course, the smallest one is actually a 0.6 billion parameter model. You know how small that is? That basically says that you can run the entire model on just 1 GB RAM. 0.6 billion parameters runs on 1 GB RAM. Now, if you also look at that particular thing about Gemma 3, right? Gemma is from Google, right? You can see that their smallest model is actually 270 million parameters, right? That is running basically on half a GB RAM, right? That's so powerful because the Gemma models have been trained on 3 trillion parameters, right? And it's that small, right? So potent that you can build stuff out of it. Now, and this is exciting. We'll get to the exciting part of our session little later, but I just want you to just make quick notes on your pen and paper. By the way, the reason I say make quick notes on pen and paper is because now this is very important. I have interviewed hundreds and hundreds of interns and co-founders and people to work with me. And what I realize is this: a lot of people nowadays are relying so much on AI tools that they're losing the ability to think for themselves, right? See, now we will accept that you have to use AI to build products, right? It doesn't matter, even if you're doing a banner, you're building a website, you're building content. Yes, you will use AI. But the question is then, why should I hire somebody if I had asked this question before, right? Why should I hire somebody if I can build it myself? With just $23 a month, which is 2,000 rupees, right? 2,000 rupees and even if I pay a person 1 lakh a month, right? Why? So the people who are coming into the job market nowadays need to be able to do critical thinking skills, right? Because you see, the AI can only work with data that is already available on the internet or on what it was trained. So it can build you software, yes. But then as a business, I normally work in very specific contexts, very specific problems. And many of these problems, especially problems related to human beings, right? Because we're always building for human beings to solve human problems, to build, right? The AI will not know specifically. So we need to, so interns or people come to the job market need to have problem decomposition skills, problem solving skills. Like if I give you a large problem, can you break it into small pieces where each you can tell, okay, what are the small pieces? How are these pieces related to each other? Which piece of the problem will I solve first, right? Prioritization of problems. Which is to be solved first? Which can I ignore temporarily? What will I do first? What kind of input should I give? What kind of output can I expect? Because when you saw that Fourier transform, the example which I gave, I just said, give me a visualization, and it gave me some visualization, right? But if I need it in a specific way, or my client tells me, okay, I need an output which looks like these, which has this particular front end, which has something, right? Very specific. The AI cannot give me exactly that. It requires someone to understand the requirements of the client, to convert that into a product description, into a product specification, and then give that to AI and build pieces of code and then link these different pieces of code. You see, that is what in the future I would need people to be able to do very specifically. So you have to be an expert in your domain to be able to get AI to build for you effectively and efficiently, right? So simply having access to AI doesn't mean that you become an expert. You have to have reading and writing skills. And this is very, very important, which is what is called disciplinary reading. So if you're in psychology and you want to build a product for psychologists, are you able to read research papers in the psychology domain? Or if you're in the business domain, are you able to read business papers? Or if you're in the CS domain, are you able to read, right? I don't mean ask ChatGPT to summarize for you. I mean actually read and understand very detailed aspects, right? And then can you write things out? You see, the reason I say write is because the hand and the pen and the pencil are an extension of our brain, of our cognition. In the first slide I showed you, or in the one of the first images I showed you, human beings started evolving as they made fire and as they built tools, right? Tools to do different things, and the brain evolved in that process of building tools. Now, the problem with ChatGPT is that our brain actually starts using a crutch and we lose the ability to think. And this is a huge problem, right? So how do we keep our mind sharp while still leveraging these AI tools to build? So disciplinary reading and disciplinary writing, very, very critical thinking skills that are needed right now, right? They appear very simple. You may say, okay, how do you, what's so difficult about reading and writing? But please understand, these are very important skills which are actually being lost at present. And I'm seeing these among small children who are building very well, but they're unable to convey their ideas, in a place where other human beings are involved. So very important, right? So coming back to the Olama, I just wanted to show Quen because this is a LLM model that I use personally. I find it very powerful because it has got what is called reasoning abilities and very powerful reasoning abilities, right? It doesn't matter which domain you belong to. If you are able to install Olama on your laptop, then download this model, and I'll just show you how simple the commands are through the command prompt. You will be able to run AI on your laptop. Let me just skip this. Of course, I just want to show this Gemma, very nice, and the smallest model is 270 million parameter, but very powerful. Now, all you do is just this, right? You just download Olama, install it. You need to choose the model which you choose, right? Whether it's Gemma or Quen. The size of the model, right, depends on how big RAM you have. So if you have a good amount of RAM, you can download a large one. You have a lesser RAM on your system, you can choose a smaller model, right? So you have to just run these commands, Olama serve, then you have to download the model from the internet. So you'll say Olama, and this is all on the command prompt, right? Whether you're running Windows or Linux or Mac, you'll always have a command prompt. So it's in this command prompt that you will type these commands, and you will be able to run your AI in your system. So you have to first pull the model onto your thing. If you're pulling this 0.6 billion parameter, it may take you around 5 minutes. Actually, I'm hoping that some of you, as you're listening to me speak, you're actually trying this out on your own. And once you've pulled the model, to run the model, you have to do Olama run, and the model number in the model type separated by a colon, and then the parameter size. So this 0.6 can change to, let's say, 14B, or it can change to 8B or 7B or whatever, right? So these are all values which you can change. So if you go to those websites, it clearly says how to do this. So it's as simple as this. Just Olama serve. So the server starts, then again you open a new prompt, a command prompt, and in that you do pull, and after you've done pull, you do run. So once you've pulled, you don't need to keep doing pull again and again. You just serve and run. It's as simple as that to run AI on your laptop, right? Now, and we're coming to the important part where I will open the session for Q&A, right? So a focus question that I want to ask each of you, and I want all of you to start putting ideas into the chat box. Have you ever wanted to build a product? I want you to tell me what product you want to build, right? That is the focus question right now. So I want you to start to drop your ideas in the chat box. I will just hold. And if you have questions as well from whatever I've shared till now, please drop your questions as well in the chat box, and I will see how many I can answer right now. Yeah. So let me just pause for you to think of an idea that you want to build. Drop it in the chat box. And your questions. I hope I'm not stuck or anything, right, Yogi? By any chance, just ping me on the thing, and just so that I know that I'm still live.
Yes, sir, you are still live.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Learners, we are opening our chat. Please ask only relevant question.
Yeah, so questions from the session that till now, and related to this thing, which is, have you ever wanted to build a product? Please tell me what product you want to build. So just put that into the chat box, please.
I think the chats are not open yet. Um,
Sir,
Pankaj,
calling
can you
Pankaj.
please open the chats for everyone?
I saw a lot of hands come up before. Someone wants to teach me Hindi as well. I can speak Hindi, just that I'm also from down south, so I can speak 4 other languages, which I can speak Kannada, Tamil, a bit of Malayalam, English, right, Hindi. So uh, India is larger than just Hindi, if you don't mind. So the question is, what software product or service would you like to build? I see some nice humorous answers coming in. So I'm just copy pasting some of the ideas which are coming in. There's a nice idea which came in. Maybe those of you are suggesting that should build that software right now. Yeah. Like I'm building a software on how to teach people Kannada, because ultimately a lot of people come down to Bangalore, right? So I would like them to speak in Kannada as well. So we are building a software that teaches people to speak in Kannada, to read in Kannada, to write in Kannada. So I understand. We are building that software. So somebody gave a nice answer, which is my granny is very old and I want to build something that helps people do their chores. You actually need a good robot for that, or you need, yeah. So I'm just copy pasting some of the ideas that are coming in. So I'll just wait for another 30 seconds, right? Another 30 seconds. That's it. Then we'll go to the next part. Some good ideas have come in. Thank you very much for sharing. I mean, they actually can be built in the next half an hour, in fact. That's why I'm saying they're good ideas. Because at least the ones which I've put on the screen over here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? There are 13 ideas here. You can actually build them in the next half an hour. That's the whole point of this particular session, to show you all that we can actually build this in under half an hour, at least most of it, right? To fine tune it, to ultimately to run it and all will take some time. but the point is that it's very easy to build. I'm just scrolling to see if any other. What is that? Okay, I will stop here at number 15. Okay, so totally we have 15 suggestions which have come in that you want to build, and I think we can build at least one version of it. Okay, so let me just go to the next slide. Just hold on. So we're going to build your product right now. Okay, now we're going to build your product right now in this time. So what do we do? Now, first is I'll leave it at this particular slide, which has all the product ideas. I think all of you, first is, I think some of you have started trying to download Olama. If it doesn't download or something, please check your internet. Please check that you have access to your admin password, things that, right? That part you will have to spend some time and learn it. If you have downloaded Olama, then on that particular website, olama.com /models, which I had shared earlier, it gives you examples of how to download the specific model and how to run that particular model. So the method to download is olama space pull and model name and parameter size. The example is given there. Choose a small model. The smaller the parameter size, like Gemma 3 270 million parameter will run in, let's say, half a GB RAM. Whereas, let's say, if you have 16, 32 GB RAM, then you can choose a larger model, right? Ultimately, your parameter size needs to be smaller than the amount of RAM that you have. If you're running Windows, please check whether your antivirus software is preventing you from installing. You may have to switch off your antivirus or something in case that's blocking. An interesting question came in, which is, wait, right at the top, hold on. How do I actually maintain privacy while using artificial intelligence? It's actually a good question. First and foremost is if you're using any online service, whether Chat GPT or Perplexity AI or anything, right? It doesn't matter, or Bing AI. You don't have any privacy maintained over there, right? And if you are using it from your laptop, your mobile phone, the company knows exactly who is sending what query. So there's no such thing as privacy. And let's say if you do ask for something illegal, in all probability, it'll get flagged by the company as something illegal happening, because it stores device information, what laptop you have, what operating system you have, your IP address, your MAC ID, your if you have logged into system, your username, password may not be, but at least a username, the type of browser that you're using, whether it's Chrome, Firefox, or whatever, or Mac, whatever thing it has got, right? So it keeps a track of all those details. So as long as you're on the internet, there is no such thing as privacy. So that's the first and most important thing that you need to understand. Your digital footprint is always there everywhere. And if you're a person who uses Instagram or Facebook or something, then the cookies which are stored in your browser will track you anywhere you go, right? But if you're actually trying to build something which is privacy centric, you will have to do everything offline, which is not on the internet. And things like using Olama, where the model runs on your laptop itself is one very important way. And let's say when I'm building my business, which is the softwares for children, I normally tell my clients that the software runs on a server which you are going to keep in your school or college itself. It's running on your server. So you have physical access to it, and all the data, your children's data, your students' data is going to be with you, right? They are not giving any data to me as a service provider. Normally, if you use any service, even any of the social media services, any that you become the product, that is, you may assume it's free, but the product is you, and things are being sold to you, right? I mean, you're commoditizing the whole process. Ads are being streamed for you. So that's why the suggestion that you build, you install Olama and this model on your laptop to ensure that everything is running personally on your system, right? So that would answer this particular question. Now, my assumption is that if you're having difficulty in installing, no problem, take your time. You can always do it after the session as well. But if you have access to a Chat GPT or a Perplexity account, for the sake of this session, is do a couple of things, right? Take any particular. Let's start with one, right? Let's take AI Note Tracker. Let me see how. So if we have this AI Note Tracker, right? Now, this is what you would ask ChatGPT. What are the product requirements for a AI-based note tracker? Okay, so this will be like your first prompt to ChatGPT or Perplexity, or even if you're running it locally on your particular laptop, right? Then the moment you type this into your ChatGPT or something, it will give you a very detailed set of requirements. So once it has given you a detailed set of requirements, you will go like, based on the now. A simple way to deploy products is not to build software that runs locally, but to build products that runs on the internet, right? So it can be basically like a web-based software, something which uses HTML5, or as I mentioned, that P5.js, some JavaScript, right? Because all these things can run on your browser directly. You don't need to do any installation. So it doesn't matter what software, just try to, like even my Zoom call, right, which I'm doing right now. I didn't install Zoom on my laptop. I don't like installing unnecessary software. So I'm running it as a browser service. This is actually better for me, that I don't have to waste my hard disk in software installation. So the next would be based on the product requirements. Build a web-based note tracker, right? And then you can say, since you don't know, my assumption, right? It's an assumption that you do not know how to deploy it on the internet. How can I run the software using my browser? So just 3 separate prompts, right? Now, so these 3 prompts can be put for anything, right? For example, AI assistant, or a tracking software app for women's safety, sign language interpreter, facial body recognition, even to help parents keep track of behavior. I mean, that's actually a really nice use case, right, for autism and OCD. A lot of parents do need such products, and current products are extremely expensive. They are not accessible. You see, autism, for example, is the person who asked about autism. Autism has different symptoms, and let's say based on the languages you speak at home, the culture that you come from, people may not even be able to recognize whether a person has got autism, right? It's quite difficult. So you can build a web-based software for autism, for specific demography of people, right? So my thing to all of you is right now, I will open it for Q&A based on the thing, but I would say, hey, build the software right now and host. There's a website called GitHub, right? Now this is not part of the thing. This is not part of the chatbot AI. Now this is for those who are looking for internships, right? Now, one way I give internships is this. I tell people, hey, do you have an idea that you want to build? Build that software, use AI, ensure that it has detailed documentation, and host that software on a place called GitHub, GitHub. Host your code on GitHub or GitLab. And run it on a website, right? I tell any potential intern to do this part. Once they've built the software, they have to do this, because then it gives me a good indication of the thinking abilities. Because when I have interviews with interns, I basically have conversations with them on what they have built. I go into a lot of technical details, a lot of their understanding, their knowledge, and then based on that, I select my interns, right? So the best way is to build and to show what you've built, right? So I will open the session for Q&A. Let me, can I stop the sharing? Let me just stop the sharing. Yeah. So anybody from the host can take over the session.
If anyone have questions, then you can write in chat box. I think, sir, no one have any question right now. Sir, thank you so much. So your talk on technology and its role in transforming education has given our learners a fresh perspective on how innovation can be harnessed to develop critical thinking and real-world problem solving skills. Thank you so much, sir. Now I will invite our technology head, educational technology head, Dr. Yogendra Pal sir, for giving you vote of thanks.
Share. Yeah, hello. Yes, yes. Finally, I'm connected. Same problems. Okay, so I saw a lot of ideas were shared by our students. I hope they are helpful to you.
I'm just hoping that they build those products using AI and then get in touch with me for internships.
So don't worry, we will not let them go. We have seen everyone's comment here, and they are going to be our students only. And the ideas that they have shared that they want to, so actually they are facing the same problem. See, they are saying that they want to teach Hindi.
Yeah.
Language, sign language. It
That's
is so
actually a very good thing, yeah. To learn sign language and have an app that does it, yeah, build one. It's
yes.
very
So
easy to
you
build, by
see
the way.
that
Yeah.
none of the sessions which we are conducting in orientation are for nobody. Means they are targeting people. When they listen to people, they listen to the ideas, they generate ideas. And all the students who are asking that what is the session about, they now know they have ideas to build applications. So anybody who was listening actively, obviously they got benefit. They shared their ideas. You presented everything like Llama, how you can put that in your own laptop. I believe none of us, or maybe 1% or 2% of us, have idea how we can run an AI model from our laptop. We were only running the applications, but now we know that we can actually download and install something that is very, very useful for the students, and they can build something. And it will be really nice to see the applications that they build. So obviously, we have collected the feedback from the students. We will receive a lot of questions. We are receiving really thoughtful questions. Few I have seen here, but few we receive on a feedback form. I'll share all of those with you. We also receive students' feedback about the session, and they rate each and every session. And I can see the participation was really, really nice here. So we'll share that with you. Participants, if you have not yet filled the forms, please fill the form. Otherwise, your certificate will not be released. Correct? You know that. Okay, so now I think it is a time to officially give you a vote of thanks. So thank you very much, Dr. Vikram, to share your journey, your experiences with us, which are so enriching. I believe if we want to get those experiences, we need time. But you have shared all those ideas with us in just 1 hour. So that is really, really nice. And I know how busy you are with your startup, with your interns. I also thank you for setting the time for us. You especially arranged this time for us, and also you offered internship to our students, which is really, really huge for us. And some of them are actually living nearby your area. So because we take online students. So if they want to visit physically also, you can obviously go there. And in coming days, we will see the softwares, the applications built by Free Thought Labs. We'll share those with our students, and we will also try to give them online internship if possible in when they are in second year or third year. So thank you, Dr. Vikram Vincent, for the opportunity that you're providing to our students. And we will definitely try to host more sessions with you so that we remain connected with AI. I would also like to thank our social media team and technical team, and obviously the students who actively participated in the sessions. Without them, it was not possible to conduct such a meaningful session. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, I was really happy to be a part of it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
So learners, before we formally conclude today's session, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks once again to our guest speaker, Dr. Vikram Vincent sir, and our special thanks to Dr. Yogendra Pal sir for delivering the vote of thanks. And lastly, a big thank you to our participants and learners for joining us today and fill that feedback form, which was shared in the chat.